going on, everybody, and welcome to the Level With You show. My name is Wiley Olmsted, and this week I am joined by everybody, full crew, Tyler Hadley, the Phantom producer,
How's it going, everybody?
the duo artistic one himself, Anthony George.
How's it going?
Certainly not last, or certainly last, but not least. Oh, I messed that up. The Sub-Zero hero, Kenny Castro.
What's up, everybody? But honestly, I'm not the last one. Introduce yourself, Wiley, our host.
Did I not say it? Oh, my name is Wiley Olmsted. Okay.
The hostess with the mostest.
I need a nickname though, Wiley. You just said I'm Wiley Olmsted. Everybody else got a nickname. What's this?
Well, you can't give yourself a nickname.
The Broadway Vic did name him Smiley Wiley, so let's go with that. Or with our main host, Smiley Wiley.
All right. Well, that's a work in progress. I'm not.
We're working on the name. We'll get back to it in 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. If you didn't know, this is a weekly video game podcast where the 3 or 4 of us get together and talk about, you guessed it, video games. We've certainly been playing some new ones fresh off the presses. We got some Bowser's Fury to get to, some Persona 5 Strikers, a little touchback on 13 Sentinels and Little Nightmares 2, but that's coming in just a little bit. Before we get into that, we'd like to encourage you to join our Discord. You can learn how to do that by looking at the video description below. If you're listening on a podcast service, check out the YouTube video, find it there. You can engage with us, talk with us on the regular, play some games, have some laughs, stuff like that. If you give the video a like or a share with your friends, even better, and hit that subscribe button. Okay. And why don't we just get into what's going on in our lives? How are people doing? How's work? How's the kids? How's the wife?
My kids are great. Wife, she's a bitch, but what can you do? Ball and chain, right? Am I right? I don't know. I've been working on my 401k, exemplary taxes. I got the man cave getting ready for the big fish game this Saturday. I guess I'm doing pretty good.
All right, you gotta love it with Anthony off the cuff improv. Good stuff, man.
Thanks. But I'm doing good. I woke up early. Actually, today is the first time I woke up to pee at 4:30 a.m. today. I know, shocker. But I couldn't fall back asleep. So I ended up saying, fuck it, I'm going to go work out, and did. And now I'm really tired, but I feel good.
So when you work out, what's your routine?
I usually do some stretches first. So I do like maybe 15 minutes of stretching, get all the, do the old cross-country stretches back in. I spread the legs. I go left, right, middle. Do the up, down, and some arm stuff. Then do a couple legs and sit down, stretch the bottom legs. Then I like to alternate between doing push-ups and jackknives till I want to throw up. And then I do, the weather's nicer. I can't wait to start running again outside.
It's going to be nice. I cannot wait to get back on the bike in particular.
Oh, yeah. That's what I've been doing, and it is hard. I never gave enough credit to people that do the elliptical. Yeah, it's elliptical, right? The bike at the gym.
They call the bike spinning.
Spinning. Because those are we got a bike here, stationary bike at the house my roommate bought.
Is it one of the fancy ones like a Peloton?
No, it's just like sit there, kind of got maybe a little plastic thing.
Just stationary.
Phone, just stationary, but it works. It works the hell out of these thighs, baby. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, myself, I've finally been able to get back into Ring Fit. I was talking with the guys before we went live about this a little bit, but after I went skiing, which we talked about on last week's episode, I realized that I am not an ideal skiing candidate because if you know me or if you pay attention to the way people walk, which most people listening haven't watched me walk, but my feet kind of stick out to the right. They're not straight.
You're like reverse pigeon toed,
I guess. And when I try to walk straight, it just doesn't feel right. So when you're trying to keep your skis straight, you're sort of forced to do that. So I'm putting this extra strain on myself for 3 hours when I was out there trying to climb up hills and just keep my bearings. And it was about 5-6 days where I was pretty out of commission doing anything that took any sort of exertion. So glad to be able to ring fit again. So yeah. What about you, Kenny? You've been working out? Are you watching any good animes? What's new with you?
Some workouts here and there at home. As I've, it's been dabbling with the idea. I got approached to come play semi-pro football again, and I was like, wow, I haven't played anything like that in forever. Throw the pads back on. Maybe make one last little fun play with the traveling football team, but not sure there.
That's crazy, man. This would be full contact tackle and everything.
Yeah, pads, helmets, everything. Yep.
Nice.
Dang, don't get hurt.
Yeah, on purpose. That's why I call it.
And you're, if I recall, a defensive player.
Yeah, I love playing defense. I love doing the hitting most of the time.
Right.
Except for when you're getting run over by the running back or somebody.
Yeah.
But no new animes.
No. Well, no, actually, let me rephrase that. I did jump through and binge through the first season, or at least the episodes that are available of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Good choice.
Yep.
This is one that Tyler recommended in the Discord, right?
I believe he did at one point.
Couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, and this is on, where can people watch it?
Crunchyroll,
the serious anime streaming service,
as well as HBO Max.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
HBO Max is killing it, dude. Honestly,
HBO Max has been picking up all of the you can go to their Crunchyroll collection and check out a lot of popular Crunchyroll animes that are there.
Yeah, because I think Jujutsu Kaisen. I can't remember. Is it a Crunchyroll original or?
I believe it is a Crunchyroll original. Yes, it is.
Yeah, they've been putting out some good ones.
Yeah, they have. That one's pretty good, and it's dubbed on HBO Max, so I enjoyed it. Dubbed.
Yeah, I think they have like the first season and a half or something like that dubbed.
Yeah, at least on HBO Max, I think they had about 15 episodes there. I watched that, ran through that, and then I just started in between while working today. Just had it in the background watching it while doing some work. Doro on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Dodorohedoro? Is that what you mean? Dodorohedoro or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Dodoro.
Yeah, that one. I was like, oh, lizard man and all these sorcerers and all this other stuff. I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I fell off it, to be honest. I maybe I'll give it another chance. It just got a little too weird, and I was like,
sounds interesting.
And the more weird it gets, the more I love it.
I watched all 11 episodes now, I think, that are out on Attack on Titan season 4, and it's just so good. The storytelling is so bold, telling it from other people's perspectives and subverting your expectations, and just top-notch action, as well as just beautiful, poignant animation in the quieter scenes. I think it's like I know it's a new animation studio. I think it's the best it's ever looked. It's really great. And then last night, Elena and I watched Judas and the Black Messiah. Definitely highly recommend that one. Crazy story. It's one of those when it's based on a true story, and a lot of these films will end with "So where are they now?" type of thing. Where the text will say like they lived in prison until they were 70 and then they died. The realizations of what happened to these characters is nuts, and just definitely recommend checking it out before it's gone. HBO Max is what made me think of it.
What's the movie about? Like, what's the premise of it?
The premise is it's about the Black Panthers in the late 60s / early 70s in Chicago, and somebody, a car thief, gets a deal with the FBI to infiltrate them and to learn as much as they can about them and about the organization, and in particular their leader. And he ends up sympathizing with them, and is very, he's a rep, and he it's tough to watch at times because you're rooting for, he's the protagonist, so you kind of are rooting for him, but you know that he's really doing a dishonorable thing and on the wrong side of history. So it's definitely, and it's got like everybody from Get Out. It's got the main character, I forget the actors' names. I should know them.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
And
So good.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Hell yeah.
Both are the main actors in the movie.
Right. Who were both in that
love
film.
Lakeith.
And there's also a cameo
Lakeith is
from.
good.
Does he play the white black guy and Get Out?
Yeah, Lakeith is the one
brainwashed.
that's like brainwashed and stuff. The one that gets grabbed in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, he's in Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah, he's amazing in that one too.
And even his friend from Get Out, the sort of the comic relief character,
Yeah.
the TSA agent, he makes an
Mhm.
appearance, which was
Wow.
fun to see. So yeah, that's our gaming and life talk. Why don't we jump into some video games? Did I say gaming and life talk? I meant movies.
Yeah.
Life's a game.
All right, let's talk
Dig
about
it.
some video games. So big Persona fan down here, Phantom producer himself, still waiting on his physical
That
copy.
side.
It's here. It is here. I got the
It's here?
notification. It's on my doorstep, most likely.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna jump out there before someone in Chicopee decides to steal it.
So if Tyler signs off early, we'll know why. He's gonna be playing that Persona, probably a beat by next week's show. But Kenny, you got the deluxe edition and were able to play it a few days early.
That is
think,
crazy.
Word of mouth has been pretty positive. A lot of people saying it's essentially Persona 5 2 with a little bit with a different type of battle system and a more of a sort of condensed story. So that sounds awesome, sitting somewhere in the mid 80s on Metacritic. What are your thoughts so far?
Honestly, you can't go wrong with Persona 5, man. But those characters are you have to really be a horrible team. Whoever gets given it and then drops the ball has to be the worst team possible. Because that set of characters, especially when you're just adding on to the story, pretty sure they're given a good outline of what to do and how to go about it. And when you look at the Mushu games and what they've been doing with some of the licensed Mushu games, like they've been getting real creative with the battle systems and how it goes. I know Anthony played Age of Calamity, and that doesn't play like a regular Dynasty Warriors game. And this one, far from it as well. I know Tyler played the demo, so he already knows what to expect when he jumps into it. And I fell in love. I didn't play the demo. I saw Tyler play it, and some of the early reviews I saw that were spoiler free were comparing the battle system to almost like a Kingdom Hearts battle system, and I have to agree completely. And that made me fall in love even more, because it's just free flowing. I'm just rolling around, and whenever I want to pop an ability, I hold my right or my R1, and I'll aim it, pop it, and then just keep rolling from there. And I'll dash with the R2, and I can switch party members with the directional buttons. Press left, switch over to Ryuji. Press
full control.
Yeah, you get full control of them and their abilities when you switch over to them, which is the way to do their baton pass as well. Is that cool. They incorporate the baton pass from the regular mechanics into it. So you're able to do that. You got your all-out attacks as well that you can do to not just the one enemy, but to whoever's in that within a certain diameter of you, of that center of the attack. You'll bring all of them in and do an all-out attack on all of them, and then you get your over-the-top attack, which is the Showtime attack, which is amazing how it looks and how it's performed. So far I've bumped into some mini big characters who have some big bars, and I like how that you go about some of those battles, right? You have to break down like their guard up until you're able to actually pull off an all-out attack on them.
Okay, so I'm assuming you start the game with the full gang of thieves, right? Phantom Thieves.
It's in that. So just starting off, it just acts as if there's no Persona 5 Royal, right? It picks up from at the end of 5, right? In that summer after you've saved everybody and the you're just hanging out with the crew, everybody went their ways and kind of come back together real quick. And so it just acts like that new character that got introduced in Royal doesn't exist. Royal never happened. All the extra stuff that Royal introduces you don't really need it. So if you're worried like, hey, maybe I didn't get to do the last semester in Royal, should I jump in? you don't have to worry about it.
They're leaving room for DLC.
Interesting. So that's like kind of
Ooh.
is Persona 5 Royal canon or no? I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't put it into question. So if this is canon, then then it makes Royal not canon.
Well,
Hey,
I guess
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm sure they'll add DLC to it to be like, hey, remember when you bought the next game? Well, it's back. You can play as ballerina
Persona
girl.
5 Strikers Royal.
Oh, I really wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Seriously. So that there's like 6 or 7 Phantom Thieves. So are they all on the battlefield at once?
No, you're only going with 4.
4. Okay.
So you bring 4. So it's you and 3 more. Just like you would have in the regular game, where you only make up your party of 3 other people.
Right.
Can you actually play as Futaba in this one?
No, she's still a guide.
Yeah.
So
Is it the same kind of like level up mechanics, and like are there accessories and like things like that you can equip different items, and does it show the different items as you like equip them to the characters? Like is there like a physical aesthetic difference between weapons and things?
You know what's funny? I haven't paid attention enough for that, because I'm getting so caught up in just flowing through the fight and just going zipping from
you couldn't tell if
once.
it had a different knife, Kenny. You couldn't tell if it was a different black knife or a gray knife. Come on, man.
Not
You can't tell if Ryuji has a lead pipe or a baseball bat or.
So I'm gonna be honest. Right now, it's at a point where the battles are so easy that I really don't need to be switching characters. I flow through it so easily with Joker right now at this point in time. I haven't really even taken on the first palace boss, right?
Ooh.
Okay, so you're still pretty early on. Are you getting a sense of what the story is, or
yes?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like starts introducing you the story really quickly, as it also introduces a new party member right away as well.
New party member.
Yeah, you get that new one right away once you enter the metaverse.
I'm gonna say, I think I know from the cover here. It might be a mysterious character we don't know.
Yep.
Exactly. Wow, you haven't too, Anthony. Have you played it yet?
No, I was gonna say my story for today is after I worked out and got up and was an early boy, I went to like 6 different places looking for this thing.
Wow.
I finally found it.
Where'd you find it?
Oh, I cut out.
Oh, okay. Anthony's cut out for a moment.
I got lost in the Persona 5 scramble. You could say.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess
all over. Apparently, GameStop, since of everything that's going on in Texas right now, all their shipments are delayed. So everywhere around here, they didn't have any copies of it. Any GameStop.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Only up to Springfield.
Hope if we have any Texas listeners that you're doing okay. Any updates on your relatives, Tyler?
I guess it's like back to like 70 degrees there. So I mean, it seems like they're doing fine.
Okay, so I guess we'll hear more next week from Tyler and Anthony, as well as Kenny, on Persona 5 Strikers. I picked up Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury for the Switch. 3D World originally came out on the Wii U, I think, in 2013. Very well received, good game. Linear in its structure. You're kind of selecting levels on a map just like you would in Super Mario World, and you get them from point A to point B. 1 to 4 players. The co-op works pretty nicely, better than it does in the 2D games. You have that extra room to navigate. I watched a really fascinating video about the level design in Mario 3D World and just Mario games in general over the last few games, which made me appreciate it more. I always thought it was sort of more of a vanilla and more forgettable one of Mario's adventures, but watching that kind of changed my mind, and I'm kind of going in with that with a new perspective, playing it co-op with a friend of mine. But Bowser's Fury, what I really want to talk about. So Bowser's Fury is the all-new game, and it is sort of a nice companion piece. Makes the $60 for a 7-year-old game not sting really much at all, because it's pretty darn good value. It's so it takes all the gameplay mechanics from 3D World, meaning you got the cat suit, you got the same power-ups that are not the cat suit, and it
Double
just
cherry, ice skate, shoe.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. You got the ice skate. I haven't run into any cherries yet, but I'm guessing I will. there's that box that's sort of like a propeller. We can get really high
Oh
up.
yeah, get the
Yeah.
little head box thing.
So the thing about this game, though, is the structure is it's sort of open world. It's you start out on this little island. There's a few different cat shines for you to find, and shortly after that, you get the little dinosaur that you could ride on the back of in 3D World. I know it sounds like Yoshi, but this is a water.
Oh yeah, Plessy or whatever the
Pless,
name
yeah,
is.
that's what is it? Plessy? That sounds right.
Maybe, I hope so.
But so she's sort of your vehicle between traveling these different islands. As you are playing the game, a big kaiju Bowser will appear. It's sort of the point of the game is to get Bowser back to his normal silly dinosaur self and not this raging giant kaiju. Bowser Jr. is the one that enlists you to help him, and he's sort of your constant companion. And if you want to play this in 2-player mode, the other player would play as Bowser Jr. Haven't tried that yet. So every about 10 minutes or so, this giant Bowser will appear. And what you can do is you can run over to one of these giant bells that are sometimes activated, sometimes not, and turn yourself into a giant cat Mario so you can go toe to toe with Giga Bowser, Kaiju Bowser. And he's got a big old health bar. If you get a ground pound on him, it takes a fair amount. Or if you don't want to run over to the cat bell, you just want to keep playing the game, his attacks are pretty easy to avoid, and you can get a shine, and that does a little bit of damage to him. So there's been a few times where I'm like, I'm just going to wait 2 minutes. I know Bowser's about to be here, and then I can just get this shine, and then I'll get him out of my hair, and it'll do some damage. It's sort of a interesting cat and mouse dynamic there. And there's also some places that only his fire-breathing lava can open, so you're trying to bait him into opening a certain thing here. Only played it for a couple hours, maybe 3 hours, and I have 27 of the shines. I believe there are 100 total. So it's pretty
Wow.
brief, but it's really solid, and um, it's given me that feeling of that I was experiencing a little bit playing 64 last week of wow, there's really just so many ways to go at this, like the openness of the levels and finding secrets is just really satisfying. I feel like they're all over the place. You feel like you did something cool when you find a little shortcut that may or may not have been intentional. It's just got that 3D Mario magic, which is cool. So
That sounds
yeah,
awesome.
that's
Are you always on a timer so you know when Bowser's gonna like show up? Is it like a 10-minute kind of thing?
oh, it sort of just happens organically in the game. I will say that I do think it happens maybe a tad too often. It's probably every like I don't know. Maybe it's not the same exact amount every time, but it feels like 7, 8, 9 minutes, and he's there for 1 or 2. And that's just my guess. Maybe it's 12, and
Mhm.
I'm just miscalculating. I haven't set a timer yet, but it's not too bad when he shows up. Some cool heavy metal music plays. The weather changes dynamically wherever you are on the map, which is pretty neat. So you'll be trying to platform up this big section, and all of a sudden it'll be pouring rain. There'll be fireballs flying out of the sky, and it's just kind of neat how that weather system changes. That you don't usually have dynamic weather in a Mario game.
Yeah. So when you do enough damage to him, does he just like frig off for a while? Is he just like
Yeah, so I think I've depleted his health bar once, and Bowser Jr. was like, "Well, we slowed him down, but trust me, it's gonna take more than that to stop my papa," type of thing.
Daddy's mad. Daddy popped the tire on the highway and he's taking it out on me.
Yeah, it is nice to see Bowser Jr. sort of get a semi spotlight on him. I feel like he's sort
Mhm.
of always not
Forgotten.
portrayed in a good light. Yeah, forgotten
Yeah.
or just like I don't know, he's sort of the bastard child of Bowser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got one
positive
game,
note,
What was his game?
Sunshine.
Oh, what was he in Sunshine?
He was like the
The-
main antagonist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's been a
Yeah.
long time. I do remember
Shadow.
him holding a wand or a paintbrush.
Does he use the same paintbrush in the Bowser's furry? Does he use
Yes, I
paintbrush?
think actually, I think that's what he's hitting enemies with. I never made that connection,
That's pretty cool.
and it's kind of fun. You can change how much you want him to assist you, like not at all, a little, or a lot. And I've been having it on a lot because it's just really fun to watch him run ahead of you, smack a bunch of
That's cool.
Goombas.
That's like actual partner. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is neat. So I don't know. I might switch back down to light, but anyway, so pretty positive on that. Bowser's Fury comes with 3D World. Unfortunately, you can't buy it a la carte, but 3D World's worth revisiting if you
Definitely gonna get that.
haven't
Nice.
played it or it's been 7 years.
You haven't tried any of the co-op features yet?
No, I haven't tried them. Oh well, just for 3D World, not Bowser's Fury. And
Cool.
it was just local. It was me and Robbie.
Nice.
Worked good. So what's going on with 13 Sentinels, Tyler? I know
Yo,
you're
we're
pretty
done.
deep into it.
We're done with
You were
it.
pretty deep
Rap.
It's a
Okay.
wrap. Rolled credits. Finished all the battles. Finished all the stories. What else can I say about it? It's so hard to talk about the game without spoiling anything because it is so narrative driven. I will say once you finish the game, it opens up another area of battles, which I'm not sure what the purpose of is. I haven't actually gone back to it since I rolled credits. That's kind of
I know
like
that,
yeah, that's kind of like one of the things that I have when it comes to games. Like once I roll credits, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
pretty much. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm like doing everything I can in Ring Fit because I'm like, this is my main source of exercise. I can't beat it. But so the story, does it live up to everything it's building up? Because myself, I'm 10 hours in and there's so many threads going on. I want to continue the story here, but I got to go play as another character. And it's kind of feeling like, I'm enjoying it. I'm wondering if the payoff's going to be strong enough for me to, spend another 15, 20 hours with it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say it pays off. There definitely are a number of times where you're going through the motions with the different characters, and there are some deja vu moments where, I mean, you'll be walking through a scene that you experienced with another character, but there's just like so many like little things that come up by playing the different characters. Like some people know some like just a small little detail that like somebody else doesn't know, and it just like there are points where you play as one character and you learn something from that character that just connects like so many different things, and then you're like, holy crap, like that's what's
It all
happening.
makes sense now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Who's your favorite of give me your top 2 of the protagonists?
I think I like trying to remember all of their names.
It's one of the things, dude, it's really hard to keep track of everybody's names because they all are on a first name or last name basis. So, they got in Japan, if you're not very familiar with someone, you're calling them by their last name, and it's just a lot, man. Like, there's been times where I'm like,
I really
who is
liked
this?
Tomi Kisaragi. I think she was a pretty good character that I liked her storyline. I really like the storylines of the guys who came from 1975 or 1945. I thought those were really interesting.
Blonde guy that has like the 2-letter first name.
No, he didn't come from the past. He came from the future.
Oh, he did. See, look at me screwing up my timelines.
A Sekiguhara.
I really like Natsuna, and I want to get back to her story with the robot, but I can't yet.
Yeah, hers is pretty good. Hers kind of goes like all over the place. She has like a lot to do with kind of the collective like narrative of like everybody coming back together.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm waiting for. Is them getting to that moment where they realize what the hell's going on, so I can start understanding what's going on. So I'm definitely gonna stick with it, play it a few hours a week, and stick it out. But glad you really liked it, and let's called 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. If anybody,
Yeah, I'm
missed
looking
that.
forward to you finishing that because I would love to talk all spoilery about it.
Okay, well, good to know. Or Kenny, did you want to talk about any games besides Persona this week?
No. Actually, Persona has been really just a big focus. I feel like I'm in a video game, slight video game droughts. There's like so many things for me to play, and I need to just focus on one. And I think Persona 5 Strikers arrived at the perfect time. Lets me align myself, focus, and just strike head on one game, and then maybe like that I'll pick up pace again with other games.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know the feeling of sort of feeling in a funk. You got a few things on your plate, you don't know where to start, and then once you get something that you're really into, then it's a good feeling. So.
Yeah, I've definitely been feeling that as well since I finished 13 Sentinels. I ended up just going back. I last night I ended up doing a Hades run because I was just like, yeah, I haven't played Hades in a while. And I actually beat it, like the one run that I had sat down and did. I was like, sick. Still got it.
Yeah, that's a
weapon
good
did you
confidence
use?
boost too.
And then I ended up playing that game that Anthony made a couple videos for, Luck Be a Landlord on Steam.
I played I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that was
Luck
pretty
Be a
fun.
Landlord. Yeah, so if you want to watch, so do you both have a video up now?
No, just Anthony has a couple videos
Just
up.
Anthony, it's on the YouTube channel. It's slots roguelike. Is it worth?
It
I
definitely
know Anthony
download
talked about
the
it last week, but
download the demo. It's fun. It's demo's free. You're not gonna lose anything. It's only $10 for the floor version, which just adds so much more. And it's interesting. It's fun to play like with a friend too. Like you'll see in the video, it's just my buddy Stu who's there and showed it to me. It's fun because he knew what was going on and I was just going into it blind.
Yeah,
With some
I mean, it's kind of just like a mindless game that it is pretty RNG for the most part. Is it worth $10 for the early access game? I don't know, but whatever. I think it would make like a really great mobile game.
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious as to like why it wasn't made as a mobile game to begin with.
yeah, or ported, yeah,
or Switch game.
yeah.
Speaking of mobile and Switch games, I'm still playing Grindstone for like an hour every night. I'm on
Hell
level
yeah.
150 something, and I think there's only or maybe 140 something. I think that there's 160 main levels
Wow,
from what I've heard, so I'm getting pretty close to the end of that.
you were killing it.
Yeah, I'll still have the daily challenges that I can go back to because the thought of not having that game anymore makes me sad just because it's been such a part of my routine for like a month and a half now. And I just can't get enough of it. And it's been a long time since I've been into a game's meta like that, where I'm really just
Into it hardcore, like so
yeah,
engrossed.
where I see all the monsters appear on the screen, and like my eyes instantly start making the connections on what combos I want to start and what I want to save to build up a bigger one next turn. And it's nice to have the feeling of like, yeah, I'm really damn good at this game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So Anthony, I know that you're probably playing 3 or 4 different Game Boy Advance games through your emulators. Or any big ones you want to talk about this week?
Yeah, I got a couple. I was talking to you guys about it. I ended up after the Nintendo Direct last week. I ended up actually going and playing a lot of Splatoon 2 this week.
All right.
Going back and playing that. So it's fun. It was I didn't really get too engrossed with it, but there was a solid couple days where I was just playing it nonstop, and multiplayer is a lot of fun. It's very oddly satisfying to just cover everything in ink, just get everything all goopy.
Are you playing multiplayer primarily?
Yep, yeah, multiplayer. I did a couple of modes in single player, but I felt like I was getting more enjoyment out of the multiplayer because there's the turf war that you can mainly do for multiplayer. There's ranked matches which have different objectives. I think I only played that once and ended up timing out on the connection, so I didn't even get to finish that game. But the turf war is really fun. There's so many different weapons, and new weapons unlock every level that you level up. There's always new clothes to buy, usually in the store that I don't know if they refresh daily or with your level, but they give you different perks during battle and different abilities. And there's like almost the best way I can kind of compare to is like a horde mode from Gears of War. It's called Salmon Run, where there's 3 different rounds, and every round you're timed, and by the time limit, you have to get a certain amount of golden eggs that these salmon guys are dropping. And it's just, like kind of different sized battlefields that'll vary. And you're just going to get waves of enemies that come and bosses. And once you kill the boss, hopefully they'll drop eggs, and everybody on your squad has to grab an egg, throw it in the basket. But if everybody gets, everybody in your squad, there's only 4 people per squad. If everybody gets killed, then it's just game over right there.
So it seems like it's still a pretty active community.
Yeah, I didn't have to wait long for matches at all. I was in, like, every match is 2 minutes for Turf War, and I was in there, like, I don't know, I could get, I didn't have to wait more than maybe half a minute for queue.
So when was the direct? It was the day after the podcast last week, right?
Yes, the Wednesday.
I think that's right. So we got our first look at Splatoon 3. What did you think of that trailer? It was pretty odd. It started off like a minute of like
Yeah, like at first I thought I was gonna I knew it was Splatoon. I thought it was gonna be some like Splatoon like RPG or something like that. And I was like, huh. But then they introduced Splatoon 3, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool, like post-apocalyptic setting. Yeah, that's weird because it starts out in like a post-apocalyptic like wasteland desert. And you just sit
I guess is where Splatoon actually takes place, is what I've been hearing.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a post-human society.
Yeah, they do a real job of covering that up in 2, because in 2 it's like a very widely, there's no humans, but it's like everything's very lived in, like all the little animals and like squids and the octopuses. There's like malls and like stage concerts, like downtown areas.
Yeah, from my understanding, actually, is that the big thing about how they treated that, the reveal was because the direction of the story, overarching story of Splatoon has been like, kind of in a way decided by almost votes by the fans, by the audience, by everybody that's been picking up the game, playing it faithfully, and been backing it. So I think that was their way of being like, well, you guys decided the direction, and this is where it's going, So I'm not too much versed into the game, but from everything I was reading and seeing and hearing is that people made this choice, and it was something there was a choice to be made, and this is how it's affected the Splatoon world heading into part 3.
It's pretty cool how they did that.
Yeah.
So the direct was 6 days ago. A lot of people have forgotten it by now, or it's old news. So I didn't put much of it in the outline or any of it at all. Was there anything notable from it that you guys thought was like a big surprise, or something you were really disappointed about or happy about?
Nothing that really the only real thing that caught my attention, I mean, isn't gonna be coming out until next year. I still actually do probably want to download the demo, but that working title of
Triangle Strategy.
Project Triangle or whatever it's called.
Triangle Strategy.
Yeah,
from the Octopath Traveler folks.
Yeah, Square.
Yeah, that looked pretty cool. So that demo is available now?
Yeah, that's what it sounded. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Is that they were asking people to play the demo, and then they were going to send a survey out or something like that to get feedback.
Yep. Seeing that on this Eurogamer article right here. The big kind of wait, one more thing. They had Enuma, the producer of the Breath of the Wild games, come out, and first thing he says, which I thought I cracked up, was, "Hey, you probably saw me and thought you were going to get more Breath of the Wild too. Nope."
Yeah. That's his first thing is like, hey, I really hope a lot of you are probably thinking that, but sorry.
And so what we did get was a reveal of Skyward Sword, the Wii Legend of Zelda game, or is it Wii? Yeah, it is Wii, and it's going to have optional motion controls. You can use the C stick, the right joystick for slashing the sword if you don't want to use motion controls, which is, of course, they had to implement that with the Switch Lite and just people's preferences. Do you guys have any familiarity with this one?
I put it down after the first dungeon. I didn't even get through the first dungeon. I got through the prologue, and then halfway through the first actual the forest temple, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I actually did play it on Wii. It's one of the few Wii games that I actually had. I can't remember how far I actually got through it though.
I hear that it has a really boring beginning.
Yeah, it does. It's a lot of collecting. It's a lot of running around. You have to douse for Zelda like 4 or 5 times. You just use your sword and like point. It was just very, and then the I was just bad too with the Wii Motion Plus. Like, okay, you gotta slash this guy a certain way.
Well, I wonder if they're going to make any quality of life improvements like they did to Wind Waker. When they
God, I hope.
streamlined that quest at the end. I think they got to do something because that seems to be the general consensus is this is one of the lesser 3D Zelda games. Even though it reviewed very well, as Zelda games always do when it came out. In hindsight, a lot of folks think it's definitely not up there with Twilight Princess or Wind Waker. Of course, I'm
I'm
sure
very excited for this version.
you're excited for it, even though you didn't like it.
I really want to give it another shot. I've been wanting to give it another shot for a long time, but I was hoping it would come to the Switch, and I'm really stoked to get my grubby little mitts on it once it comes out.
Yeah, I would have preferred a Wind Waker Twilight Princess duo. Um, I didn't get too far in Twilight Princess, so that's one I've been wanting to revisit, and I've got it on GameCube, and I have 3 GameCubes, so I should play it.
One of those bad boys up. I think GameCube's probably the best way to play it, or Wii if you have a Wii.
I have a Wii U. Um,
That same thing.
yeah. Word. So I guess the more recent thing that's been happening, and that's been a couple days gone by as well, but is BlizzCon 2021, the digital edition, of course. So we got a whole slew of announcements slash details on their upcoming and current projects, and I think each of you is into one of their franchises, and I'm wondering what you thought specifically about each of these. Before we get into that, though. A couple other announcements. The Blizzard Arcane Collection featuring the 3 games The Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn are coming out. This is sort of pre-Diablo, pre-StarCraft Blizzard. Any of you guys play these?
No.
Played before.
Same here.
Blackthorn.
Blackthorn I've heard of. That's the only
Yeah.
one I've heard of. Watching the trailer, it's a fantastic trailer. It's $20, has all 3 games, all sorts of behind the scenes stuff. You can play 2 different versions of each of the games, and sort of a cool time capsule thing. And I guess there's some WoW news. We got Shadowlands Chain of Dominion patch for the modern World of Warcraft, and the Burning Crusade expansion for World of Warcraft Classic. Kenny, either of these gonna get you back in?
Yes, definitely, because I just keep hearing from everybody just how good Shadowlands is.
Yeah.
And it's been there, and I got my subscription up. I've been playing here and there, just dabbling. I just haven't picked up the new expansion. And also, honestly, because I never got into WoW in vanilla, right? So I wasn't all that crazy about jumping back into WoW Classic vanilla, but Burning Crusade is exactly where I jumped in.
Well, yeah.
you
So
know?
that would probably have some major nostalgia for you.
That one definitely would. So I was like, wow, I saw that, and I was like, ooh, this could be a entry point for me in the classic feeling, I'm jumping back in around Burning Crusade before the Wrath of the Lynch King and all that good stuff.
So are they just redoing it then? They're like they're doing vanilla into like how it used to be then, pretty much.
Yep.
Isn't that wild? They're literally like reliving a live game's life cycle 20 years, 15
That's
years
crazy.
later.
That blows my mind.
Like, is that what they're going to do for Destiny? That would be so great if they did it for all these games. Like
you have your hardcore fans, man. That's what it is, because there's such a big percentage of the WoW fandom and WoW like hardcore elitists, right?
Yeah. Oh my. So
that miss that vanilla and Burning Crusades. Wow.
Man, it's such a big part of their life too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So long.
Because you get some people that complained about Wrath of the Lich King and every one of them afterwards, but it was like the heyday, like the golden era, the gold era of just Burning Crusade and vanilla.
Yep.
So Burning Crusade was the first major expansion?
Yes.
Cool. Well, that sounds neat, and yeah, I think it'd be cool if 20 years from now it's like Fortnite Season 1, y'all. Here we go.
If it does
Speaking of which, did you get that Ryu, Kenny?
No, I have not. I have not. I've been trying to avoid jumping on and spending that money.
So yeah, Ryu is now a skin in Fortnite. I've been seeing some funny gifs of him with a chain gun and stuff like that. So, so some other stuff coming out of BlizzCon. We got a look at the Rogue class in Diablo 4 and some nice gameplay after the cinematic. Did you guys check that out?
Not yet.
I think the game's looking really good. Oh, you did, Tyler?
Yeah, I saw the Diablo 4 cinematic.
I'm really looking forward to this one. I know it's not coming out in 2021, so I got one booted off my what's our game thing called? Our game
fan critic.
Yeah.
critics. So it's a big fat 0 for me, but I'm thinking
Yeah,
it's
I got one of those.
looks really good. They've certainly harkening back to the darker tone of the earlier Diablo games. The combat looks a little crunchier. You know, it's not. They got to a point in 3 where you could not possibly have any more enemies on the screen. It just got to be too chaotic, and it was just like, how are they going to top? Like, you can't. You had to go back to basics. You couldn't just keep expanding on that craziness of 3. So, not only did we get a look at 4, we got a look at Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is just a full-on remake of Diablo 2 for its 20th anniversary. One that I never played. You know, I'm not PC guy, but I'm looking forward to giving this one a shot. And it's got that neat feature, I believe, that the Halo Anniversary Collection has, where you can just hit a button and toggle between the new and old graphics. You guys excited by Diablo 2 Resurrected?
I actually am.
Yeah,
You know,
I just want to give it a shot.
you get so many people talking about how like much of a perfection was Diablo 2. Like you get people talking in like high standards of it. So I would not. It's a game I've never given a shot to because wasn't a game I even knew about right prior when it first released. But I definitely give it a shot.
Mhm.
It's one of those ones that I'd hear about in middle school and think, "Ooh, that sounds so good," but I don't know. The whole devil thing, being a good church boy
Yeah.
was
Scary, spooky.
it scared me away.
That's like hot topic for me. And then I grew up and I was like, man, I love emo girls.
And this one, Anthony, I want to hear about from you. Hearthstone is getting a new Warcraft themed expansion called Forged in the Barrens.
I wish I was still as into it. It's just keeping up with that meta is just so expensive.
It is. It is so
You gotta
expensive
spend
and
that
difficult.
cash.
Is it? So this is going to have 135 new cards and a new mercenaries mode, which the team is not shy about saying that it's influenced by Slay the Spire.
That's
So-
it. That'll be cool. That'll be interesting. I like their new modes that they've been introducing. Like the battlegrounds is awesome. That's a lot of fun where everybody picks. It's like an auto chess kind of thing. Everybody picks from the same pool.
That mercenaries mode might get me in there.
Yeah, I'm
That's
down
what I
to
was
try
going
it.
to say. I know that our crew has sort of a thing for these things.
I know.
Right.
I haven't played Hearthstone since I beat Anthony.
Yeah, you
So-
crushed me when Diablo came out. You freaking! I was like, Kenny, let's have a cool friendly match at Diablo Stone, Hearthstone with Blizzard. And you're just like, yeah, okay.
You never
Yeah,
know. You never have a fun little casual match with Kenny.
No, I learned that the hard way. I want to play vampires and just go fucking kill Anthony when he's just trying to manage a business and mine gold.
Okay, so that's the Hearthstone stuff, which, as someone that's never played it, that mercenaries mode is certainly intriguing, and just I like the art from what I've seen, and
It's fun. I just wish buying packs wasn't expensive.
Is it
I mean, you can get free packs, but
so
it's
what-
like
if you were to jump in and to be okay, would you have to spend money?
if you want to play okay, like ranked, yeah. But
If you want to
wanna
play
just,
ranked,
like,
okay.
kinda
Does it? Is the PVE any good?
it depends on the mode. Depends on the mode that's available. They have a lot of single player. That was another thing too. At least when I played, it's been a while. I don't know if things have changed, but the single player mode adventures, they would usually release the first chapter of them. It was usually like 4 or 5 parts. But they'd release the first chapter free or the first part of it for free, and then you
Yep.
have to buy the rest of the chapters with real money.
then it would be $15 to buy the rest of the chapters.
Yeah.
I was there with you, Anthony. I was that was what my high with Hearthstone.
Yep.
I was like, I wanna play. I want those cards. You know.
Yeah, because you get the new cards if you bought the expansion and played through it. You'd on top of the packs, you'd also get the story cards, which are usually pretty good.
Yep.
And this next one's up Tyler's alley. Overwatch 2 got a whole lot of details and information about the single player mode, about the hero missions, which are sort of repeatable, objective based PvE modes, it seems like.
Mhm.
We got to look at some new maps that are coming to base Overwatch, which I guess is still technically going to be part of Overwatch 2, which still confuses me, but starting to make a little more
Right.
sense in my head. Was there anything that stuck out to you here, Tyler, and like did make you like,
Yeah, I was just recently looking at the list of things that were announced. I mean, the new maps are cool. Seems like there may be some PvP changes. So looks like they may be doing a departure from how the current PvP operates. I know they, looking at this list right now, looks like they are going to introduce like role passives that increase like the entire group of characters on a team for certain characters. Yeah, it
seems
looks like
they're gonna
they're
make tanks a little better at up close melee combat.
yeah. So it looks like they have a number of things that they're thinking about introducing. I mean, nothing's set in stone yet. But I would be interested in just like seeing how that impacts the game. And I think this will be something that I'll be jumping back into once it's released, or if there is a beta, I'll probably be jumping into that.
Yeah,
then-
as a mainly single player focused gamer, I'm into a more story focused, and well, it's still the PvP is going to be there, but even having a story focused mode to get to know these characters a little bit better, who they spent all this time and money putting into these animated shorts, and
Yeah, the hero
just having-
missions look really cool. So they have the hero missions as well as a campaign, or in addition to a campaign. Like the hero missions sound like it says they're co-op modes, so that you can play those with friends. And it looks like the heroes now are going to have like a progression bar, so that you're like unlocking things as you're playing as them in PvP and PvE and everything.
Yep,
That's pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
That's pretty cool.
definitely seems like a big expansion on the original. I still am a little. I guess there's the multiplayer is just going to be the same across the board. So if it's still going to be compatible with the first game, and they don't want to get rid of any characters, I just wonder if like the day Overwatch 2 comes out, are they going to do a major overhaul on the multiplayer? Is it like Overwatch version 5.0 comes to Overwatch 1? It's just going to be interesting. I don't know if there's ever been
I imagine that they'll probably. I think there will still be two modes. They'll probably have like an Overwatch Classic, and then they'll have like Overwatch 2 or something like that. And I think you might be able to just kind of like toggle, it'll be like different game modes. Whereas they might make the main, maybe they have two different types of competitive modes, like Overwatch Classic and then New Overwatch or something.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good
See that.
hypothesis. Sounds practical. Let's see what else we got. Anything worth mentioning from BlizzCon? There were more, but I didn't put them in the outline, so that's about it.
If you want it, you can check out at blizzard.com.
I did, Sam, when you mentioned that, you had drafted Diablo 4, I went and take a look, and because I was like, wait a second, I felt like another game kind of dropped off the list for some people. And I was right. And, as a quick little update for everybody, I know who those that might have watched this draft, right? Anthony's still in the lead with 29 total fantasy points. Because, of course, he picked up 2 bombs, right? With Hitman 3 and Little Nightmares 2.
Yeah.
Wiley did pretty good with drafting Cyber Shadow. Of course, Tyler hasn't lost anything other than Hogwarts Legacy last time we checked. His next upcoming game, though, is It Takes Two, releasing in March. So we'll see what he gets then.
That's gonna be a 90 something. I'm calling
Oh.
it.
So he's out here. He's claiming 90 something. I'm sitting with a measly 5 points with the medium. So I'll be happy. I'll take it. I'm happy with it. You know.
So the medium got an 80. Is that what that means?
No, they got a 75 in Open Critic. Yep. Wiley, you actually have 2 games off your board. You have Diablo 4, and you also have Gran Turismo 7 not releasing this year.
Dude, why did I pick those games, man?
Also, Mr. Lightman gets Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 knocked off of his board because they actually just dropped their partner developer that was helping to develop the game. So they're going right back to the drawing board. So that's not releasing this year. So that is a nice little quick update of our Fantasy Critic. And as I would say, the surprising lead with Anthony definitely caught me off guard. Was not expecting it.
No, we were wrong to doubt him.
Did I see?
Yeah, I was like, you picked Monster Hunter Rise as your first game, and then I was like,
See, that's what you gotta do. You gotta
Oh my
pick one you
God.
want.
After seeing like the more and more I look at Monster Hunter Rise, I think that's gonna be a 90 plus game.
Yeah. That's gonna be a 90 plus game.
Games are pretty rare, man. I don't know.
And then I actually think I saw with the Nintendo Direct, we saw more of No More Heroes 3. I think that's gonna be in the high 80s. You know.
I don't know about that, but
oh yeah, I definitely think that one's gonna be high 80s.
I don't know. That game looks so weird. Just...
I'm about to make a whole series on those, man, just for you. Those games are the competent.
I watched you stream some of it. It just looks, I don't know, just
dude, it only gets better.
It's too much.
Too anime for Tyler, you know it's weird.
It's okay to be weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. It's definitely very weird, but it's you know, look at what I'm doing with my hands.
So yeah,
all right,
that is the update. Wrap us
Thanks
up
for the update, Kenny. I think that's going to do it for episode 92 of the Level With You show. If you're watching or listening, thank you so much, and all the things I said at the beginning of the episode again.
Just wind it back.
Yep. We'll see everybody next week.
Yeah.
All right.
See ya.